Hello and welcome to A Very Curious Place. Okay, I said we were going to start this, and I said we were going to be doing a book and a movie review. But I've been so darn sick. I have not gotten into my Kindle to look up the title of the book that I wanted to do a review on. So I could do a review on it, but I can't remember the title, so I'm not going to do that. And I am going to eat while I do this. Which seems a little odd because I am going to be doing a review on a zombie horror movie. But I can eat during those, so it doesn't bother me. The gore does not affect me. So, today's movie that we are reviewing is the Netflix original, Ravenous. Now, this one hasn't been on Netflix too awful long. It's still one of the recently added ones. I will say this, there is a chance of spoilers, so if you want to watch it first and you don't want a chance of having anything spoiled, go ahead and watch it. Don't watch this. But if you don't give a hoot one way or another, then go ahead and watch this and you can watch it later. I will also say two things that you should know before you watch Ravenous. It is not a fast-paced movie. Normally, you watch the zombie movies or the horror movies, and they tend to be a little bit more fast-paced. You know, guns blazing, stuff like that. Ravenous is not like that. It is a much more slower pace. So, if you don't like slow-paced movies, this might not be the one for you. Also, it is all in French. So if you can't speak French or you don't like subtitles, probably not the movie for you either. Me, myself, I like subtitles. I turn subtitles on English shows too, so. But some people dislike subtitles. So if you dislike subtitles, this isn't the movie for you. On that note, I will say this. Ravenous is set in Quebec, Canada, a small rural town in Quebec. And like I said, it is a slower pace. And unlike a lot of zombie movies, it does not start at the beginning of the apocalypse. It starts at, the apocalypse has been going on for a little bit, probably. They don't give you exact dates or times or anything like that, excuse me. But you would assume that it's been going on for at least a couple weeks. Rough estimate. You know, hasn't been going on too awful long, but it has been going on long enough to basically just, you know, wreak havoc with everybody. They also don't really, you know, a lot of zombie movies will try and tell you, you know, kind of what started it, you know, where it started. They'll kind of give you an idea of, you know, what caused it. This does not do that. You have no clue where it started, when it started, how it started. It's just basically plops you down in the middle of the country during the apocalypse. And it's like, okay, that's new. That's interesting. Some of them do that. I have watched other shows that do start that, but other shows that plop you down in the middle of it usually do flashbacks to kind of give you an idea of how it started, what's happened since before that, you know. This show does not do that. No flashbacks, no, you know, no idea at all of what started it, how it started. It's just like, plop, look, you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Congratulations, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's just, you're just there, you know. But it does, it plops you right down in like rural Quebec. And it's just kind of an oddity. I mean, the zombies don't even go along the same lines as normal zombies in other shows. The zombies in Ravenous tend to be more like World War Z zombies. They don't seem to be hunting people down to eat them. They seem to be more interested in hunting people down to infect them. And just from what little I watched on it, doesn't seem to have any interest in animals whatsoever. Maybe I just missed it, but from what I saw, they didn't have any interest in animals. So, and but it takes this group of strangers. It takes actually 3 groups of strangers, and eventually puts them all together. And in other movies, people are in a city and they're trying to get from the big city out into the rural area. Well, in Ravenous, they're in a rural area and they have decided they would be safer in the big city. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if they're thinking on that either. But they said that their thinking on this in the show was that there has to be better protection in the cities because the military would go out of their way to protect it more. So I can kind of see where they were going with that one, but at the same time, I'm just like, really? So that's where you're going to go with that one. Okay. So whatever makes you happy. But yeah. So they all get together and they're deciding they're going to go to the big city. Does not seem like a good plan to me, but okay. So, this is basically what the movie is. It's about this group of people that are trying to get to the big city because they think the protection is better there. And it's about their journey across country and trying to stay away from zombies and so on and so forth. And the zombies are really weird in this one. They really just are. They're just, it's one of those things where you just look at the zombies and you're just thinking, what? Because yeah, they're really strange zombies. And it's like, as you go through the movie, you notice them building pyramids or building like mountains out of like TVs and chairs and cabinets and standing in a field with a chair. You know, it's like, what's with the furniture? You know, what's the purpose of this? You know, but they build these big monoliths out of furniture and stuff. And they just all stand around and look at them. And it's like, okay, that's odd. I will say this, the one thing that about the zombies that it really kind of got on my nerves was whenever they would see a person, they would let out this screeching scream. It was like nails on a chalkboard. It was kind of grating. It kind of grated on your nerves, and it kind of made my head hurt a bit. But it was like, wow, you know. So yeah, that was a different one too. I don't know. But it does. It follows them through all this, and and their, you know, goal to get towards the big city and finding each other and different things like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's a little weird. And there's one guy, and they never really explain much about him. One of the main characters just explains that he's never been quite right. And that was basically the only explanation. Even before the zombie apocalypse, he wasn't quite right. So he goes around dressed in a spotless military uniform. And apparently he thinks that he has just gotten out of the military. And he's heading home. And he does not seem aware that there's an apocalypse going on. He's completely unaware. He just keeps popping up and scaring the hell out of people. And he was like, you know, funny thing, you know, so-and-so tried to bite me. You know, it's like, and he just kind of randomly pops up, and you never see him, you never hear him until he's just like right there, and it's like, just scares the heck out of you. And I swear, every time he did that, I jumped. And it was like, he's not scary, but it was just, they would just throw him out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, well, you know, now my heart's going, and gonna have a heart attack before this movie's over. Jeez, and not from fright, you know, just from, you know, a weird little guy popping out of nowhere. But yeah. And that was a weird thing too. But it just goes through this, their trek from out in the country to try and get into the city, and people dying here and there, trying to get past the zombies, and so on and so forth. And I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. I will say that it's not a bad movie. But it is what I call a one and done. For me. This is my opinion. For me, it is what I call a one and done. Now, what a one and done is a movie or a book that you watch or you read once, and then you're like, oh, okay. Well, that was that. And then you never watch it again, and you never read it again. So I think that's what this movie was. It was a one and done. So it's one of those movies where you look at it and you think, oh God, that's going to be so great. And then you watch it and you're just like, oh my God, I wasted an hour and a half of my life on that. It wasn't bad though. I've seen worse. Trust me, when it comes to zombie movies, there is much worse. You know. Much, much worse. But there is that. So I mean, it wasn't it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. So, you know, it's one of those give and take things. So, but if you do like zombie movies, I would suggest watching it, just for the simple fact that it is interesting. It was an interesting movie. I did enjoy it. It wasn't thrilling. It wasn't thrilling. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't one of those zombie movies that you're going to go back to, or you're going to tell your friends, oh my God, I just watched this awesome zombie movie. It's not one of those. It's one of those movies where you're going to tell your friends, oh yeah, I watched this zombie movie over the weekend. And they ask you how it was, and you're just like, it was okay. It was something to watch. You know, that's basically what it was. So anyway, I guess if I had to go on a scale of 1 to 5, or what's the scale? What's a good scale? 1 to 10? On that, I I don't know, I give it a 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5. It wasn't bad, it wasn't awesome, but you know, it wasn't bad. So, on that note, I will let you go, and haven't decided what we're gonna review next week, but we'll see. And as always, much love from Auntie in a very curious place. Stay strange, sweeties. Bye.